So I'm going to get right to it, Mike. First question is, have you seen a UFO?
Of course.
I,
Actually,
know,
several.
I couldn't even say
Uh,
that without laughing. So,
well, the Travis Walton incident was the closest, okay?
hmm
But I've had a couple that were fairly close, but not quite that close.
yeah.
And of course, seeing things in the sky like almost everybody has.
Well, then aside from the Travis Walton case, which most people are familiar with, what is another event that happened to you that you could explain?
Well, actually, a little over 5 years before that incident,
hmm
in 1970, Travis Walton and I and a car full of five other people. There was actually six people in the car. It was a car this time, but it was a Dodge Charger that I had,
hmm
and we were headed down to Phoenix late September, to or mid September, I think, to go to the last thing of what they call the uh, Big Surf. It was actually a place you could surf,
hmm
and we were going there to catch the last date of the season that it was open. And on the way down there, about, I don't know, just a few 100 feet out of Snowflake, I saw this light that I first took to be a street light. And to make it quick, because there was quite a bit to it, uh, once we went out to where there weren't any more street lights, this thing remained, and it became very unusual.
Right. Right.
And Travis was sitting in the same position he was in the truck when we were in the woods that day working
hmm
5 years later. I don't think he's told this story. I think he tries to keep it, under wraps. If somebody brings it up, I'm sure he'd talk about it. But
hmm
uh, we got up about 10 miles away out of town on a hill, where we could see, and we were 10 miles closer. All of a sudden, we went up this ridge and up on a hill, and this thing was just amazing. It was a sphere,
hmm
and the top part of it was up still in the clouds. And but they were very, very low clouds, which was unusual, extremely unusual. It was like this thing created the clouds, and it very much looked that. Anyway, while we were driving, I hadn't stopped yet. Uh, this thing very slowly came down out of the clouds
hmm
to where it was completely a sphere, no clouds over it, and all of a sudden a light came out of the bottom of it, and lit up the ground. Like I say, by this time we're on top of this hill. We could see the land out before us for several miles, and
hmm
this thing was lighting up an area the size of, gosh, I don't know, 4 or 5 football fields, and it was brighter than day. And it was nighttime by the time we got there, and it was just extremely striking. And later on, we found out. Well, I'll finish the story first. We watched it from the car. I mean, we didn't stop. We kept going because this after a while this light went out,
hmm
and then this sphere went right back up into the clouds very slowly and disappeared into the clouds. Well, we just kept going, and we never did see it again, and we kind of went slow, kept looking and like that, but it didn't reappear anyway. A few years later, after 1975, matter of fact, it was in 1976. We had gone down to Tonopah, Arizona, to a big UFO convention there, and somebody was there that I knew. It was a bus driver who was right on that hill. I
hmm
know we had passed that bus, but I didn't really pay much attention to it because we were looking at the sphere, and the guy's name was Rue Hunt, and he was there, and he was speaking about that. And the first time I even knew he was there, he was driving a busload of football players back from practice at Snowflake High School,
hmm
and they stopped and they viewed it. Okay, and their story was exactly the same as ours. And then a few months later, we found two other guys who used to work for me before that, and they had seen it and they had the same story, but they had a different they were on a different angle and everything. And what's funny is that nobody ever reported that to anybody, not to any authority, not to anybody. But
There's,
there we were at that meeting in Tonopah,
yeah.
and there he was talking all about it, and I have a tape of it.
Is there something about Arizona?
There seems to be, yes.
It's odd,
Now,
right?
the next thing that I saw, which I won't go into right now, was
hmm
was up in Utah, actually. Uh, barely into Utah. It was on a forest up there where I was working.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Oh God, wait, I'll take that back. I wasn't in Utah. Very close to it, but I was on a place called Fire Point on the north rim of the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
And that was extremely spectacular, but it's very, very complicated and involved. I won't get into it now. But those three things have been just amazing to me. So have I seen a UFO? Yes, I damn sure have.
Yeah, and not many people can say they've seen UFOs.
No, but I've always been an outdoor person.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That could definitely be a factor. But if you've had one experience, especially a close encounter, I do wonder if that creates some sort of predilection or a predictor to future sightings. I mean, do you think that these things might come back and sort of just, observe you up close?
I've never gotten any feeling of that. No evidence, but not even an inkling.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to be random events, and there's been several times I've seen lights in the skies.